Okay, welcome to this walkthrough of my Ender 5 Pro customized with a Bondtech DDX3. Today I will be showing a dual filament print. Okay, we start out in Orca Slicer, which is the slicer I use currently. And here we have a box that I'm going to add a text with a different color on the lid of. First up, we select the object and then we right click and choose to add a modifier. We're choosing a modifier and not a part because we're just going to change the filament, not add or remove from the geometry. I'm making a leather burnisher box here, so I'm putting that text in. And then I'm going to set the layer height to 0.2 because I only want one layer of this other filament. Otherwise, I have to switch back and forth between the two filaments. Now I'm going to add the second filament up here and select a color just so I can see more easily in the slicer how it looks. Next up, I'm going to set this modifier to use the second filament. We will now see the black and white filaments in the slicer, but we can notice that the skirt here is in the black filament. And this indicates that we're going to be printing the black filament first, which we don't want because the rest of the lid is also going to be black, and this means we would have to switch back and forth between the black and white. So I want to change the order of these two. And I do that by going to the left-hand side here and choosing the first layer sequence and press the customize, and then simply reorder the filament. Now, when we reslice this, we're going to see that the skirt turns white, and this indicates that the white is first. And we can clearly see when we're scratching here that the white is indeed first. Now, when we look through the history of the G code here and scratch back to where the filament switches, we can see what triggers this change. And we can see here in the right-hand panel that there is a code M600. This is something I configured in the slicer settings under the machine G code as the filament change G code command. This could be anything, but this is the recommended filament switch color G code to use, M600. And this is configured inside Klipper's machine code as a custom macro. First saves the current position and then does a pause, and after the pause we restore the G-code position, meaning the extruder will move back to the position it was in and continue printing. Now we just upload and print this, and it moves the G-code file over to my Klipper instead. Immediately after starting, it will ask us to resume because there is another M600 filament switch being automatically added to the start of the script. But we just press resume and it will start printing with the white color here. Now, when that's done, it's going to move the head out of the way so that we can switch the filament. Once it's in this position, I will move to the extrude screen in Klipper and press unload. This will trigger a macro to unload the filament, which basically extrudes a bunch of filament and then quickly retracts it. This makes it for a clean switch out of the filament. We can see here the extruder gear is running, and I'm just going to pull out the PTFE tube here, which makes it a little bit easier afterwards to pull out the filament. Once the extruder gear stops moving, I know it's done, so I pull back the lever a little bit and pull out the filament. Now I can, in a controlled manner, pull out the filament and put it back on the spool and then load the new black filament here. I just pull back the lever and push down the black filament until I feel a little bit of resistance. And that resistance is basically the filament getting melted inside the hot end. And then I press load, which does quite a long extrusion. I've set it to something like 50 millimeters to make sure it really switches the color. And then we can go back in the menu and press resume. And we can now see that the new filament is in place and it continues printing from the last known position. This time lapse is of course sped up quite a lot. This is not the speed my Ender prints at. Here's the final result. It's not great this time around. You can tweak the settings and make sure that the adhesion is better, and you can also up the flow settings of the first layer to get a smoother finish. Thank you for watching.